Perez.
I'm Tariq.
And we took open courseware classes at MIT online.
We had different courses, but they were of the same topic. I had 6.00, Introduction to Computer Science and Programming.
And I took Introduction to Python Programming. So what we have here are just demonstrations of what we learned through coding. So would you like to go over like the basics of what we did learn?
We learned how to set up the GUI, what the terms were, different terms of coding, such as Caleb has here a snake script game. I created a game on a particular snake. And here they have the different codes in order to create the image. Here, for example, position of the head, directions to create the image of the snake moving around. Here are the coordinates of shapes I need to retrieve. I'll run the game now. And here, the demonstration of the creation.
So you were able to create this game from scratch?
Yes.
And how long does something like that take?
The code is about, say, 30 lines. So just follow that. It'll take maybe half an hour or so.
And what did you learn from the MIT Open Course that allowed you to create that snake?
From the open course, I learned this is not from the course itself. This it's from a different source. But from that course from MIT, I gained how to learn the code, how to understand it, and then I took that prior knowledge and utilized it to create something else from a different source.
And I also too made a code. This is a memory game. And as you can see here, this is all the coding and basics for it. Like
so
this,
create the colors.
create the colors. Here we have like these are like the number of columns of the boxes, number of rows. I can actually switch that whenever I want for the game. So if I run it, here's the game itself, and it's one of those old card games where you pick shape, and it's got the same shape. You got to memorize that blue one is there, and see if you can match it up with something else. And then within the coding, I can change whatever I want. Like let's say I want there to be 9 columns and 6 rows, and I want to go slower. So here's the FPS. That's basically the frames per second speed. I can make that 20 if I want to.
That will make the flashcards move a bit slower.
And now it's less, they're more slower. And this is also from a separate source online. I found an online book. But then from the MIT course, I learned what all of this coding means. Like what looping is, like the if function, like do this, if that, execute this.
So the MIT courses taught us how to code, and then we use outside sources to utilize the code.
So what are you both able to do now with coding that you could not do prior to taking the open course at MIT?
Well, I understand because when I first downloaded the program, it gave us a basic tutorial thing. Is I had no idea what it meant. So for the most part in the coding, all I did was like x equals 1, y equals 2, x plus y equals 3. But then with coding, it taught me like how to do more with the functions of math, like x equals this. But if x equals that, then it'll keep running this number over and over again, unless it's not that, until it stops.
So how did you feel, what was your feelings towards the course? What was the difficulty level for each of you? You're both seniors, you're both in our Academy's program. So what do you think, how would you describe the difficulty of the course for a 12th grade high school student?
The course, some of the aspects were a bit difficult, such as the math perspective, because you have to understand the different values of the code. And some of the courses I didn't technically know yet, so a bit of it was over my head. But overall, delivery of how to do so, how to do programming, it was pretty understandable.
Yeah, for my course, some of the wording they used in the notes was a little difficult, but they still, after they give you like this means that, then they'll actually give you assignments. So then tell me in your code, do this, and then when I do that, I see why it's like that. Like I have to do a bunch of things like, sometimes it would just print X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, and other times it would print Y repeatedly forever. So then it was simplified for like the minds of us. And I think a high school student would be able to learn if they put the initiative.
And be honest, do we currently have a course here at New Milford High School that would have given you the foundational knowledge that this open course gave you?
We do not. No programming course at all.
Thank you.